Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Sean Evans, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter wings. And today we are joined by Group 5, the group. You might recognize them from Tracy Messer's class, Leading Self, or being arrested by Case's Chief of Police and his partner Maverick. You may have had your travel reimbursement denied by Sarah Yelachi, or maybe you have had your 3D models critiqued at ThinkBox by Sarah Dallas. Group 5, welcome to the show. So, how do you demonstrate to your team that you are truly listening to their concerns, not just hearing their words?
Hey Sean, thanks for having me today. Can't wait to start eating these wings. Not a huge fan of the hot sauce. This first one here, let's give it a go. I make it a priority to show my team that I'm generally listening to them, not just hearing their words. Things I do is I put down my phone, give them my full attention during our conversation.
I make eye contact. I close my laptop and don't look at email so that my brain isn't being pulled in different directions and drafting responses.
I'll restate what they said back to them to make sure that I'm hearing them right.
I want my staff and peers and even leadership to walk away from our interaction feeling like they were heard and that they got the response they needed.
It is said that there are 6 types of leadership styles: visionary, coaching, affiliative, democratic, pace-setting, and commanding. When you think about your role in the organization, which style do you prefer, and how do you use it to build resonance? What impact do you think it has on your employees?
Whoa. My leadership style. Well, I try to focus on being affiliative, right? And a little bit of coaching.
I lean heavily toward the coaching style, but I use a commanding tone when things really need to get done.
So I would describe my leadership style as coaching. I focus on helping others grow by personally and professionally, and I try to guide them through challenges and encourage self-reflection. I think that's super important.
Coaching builds resonance by connecting what a person wants with something that the organization needs.
I want to make sure that they feel heard, respected, and motivated to perform at a high level. I think that also helps build a culture of continuous learning and accountability, where feedback is seen as a tool for us for growth rather than just criticism.
Sometimes in a pinch, you just need everyone aligned and moving fast. And that's when the commanding voice actually, hopefully, soothes people because it brings clarity in the midst of the chaos.
I want them to know that I'm there to support them professionally and personally. I'm not here to just manage people. I'm here to bring a positive vibe.
In primal leadership, Goldman says adults only change when it feels deeply personal, when they connect it to who they want to become. What's one behavior or habit you have had to unlearn to grow as a leader? And what made that change finally stick for you?
So one behavior...
It hits you on the back end.
Definitely getting hotter.
Something that I've had to unlearn. I think that's my tendency to respond too quickly, especially when it's email or giving feedback to someone in the moment.
In the past, what I usually did, I found myself thinking about the next task I'd have to do by checking messages on my phone, checking emails, or even mentally running through my to-do list that I had for the day.
I've really had to unlearn leading from my ego. I used to believe that because I saw a clear path, that it was automatically the right one. And that approach didn't really leave space for other people's ideas.
Sometimes reacting too quickly means that I'm missing nuances of the question or I'm implying a tone that I don't mean.
I want to be approachable and generally focus on others, and that's why I want to make this stick. So I started small little changes like putting my phone away.
Leadership isn't about being right. It's about creating space for better answers to emerge.
And practicing the pause has gone a long way to aligning my everyday behavior with the kind of leader I'm working to become.
If there are 4 dimensions to emotional intelligence, where do you think you fall on the spectrum? Do you lean more towards personal competence and are good at self-awareness and self-management? Or are you more socially competent and good at social awareness and relationship management?
All right, we're moving up in the hot level.
EQ Inferno. That one has some heat. I guess I lean more towards personal competence.
Yeah, I see personal and social awareness as two sides of the same coin.
I learn more towards personal competence, particularly in the areas of self-awareness and self-management.
I've been doing a lot of personal work over the last few years, building my self-awareness and my self-management. But that work only really means something if you can bring it into the world.
That internal clarity helps me to stay grounded, especially in fast-moving or emotionally charged situations.
In high-pressure situations, I need to stay calm, think logically, and focus on finding solutions rather than letting my emotions take over, especially in the role I have on this campus.
And when I get that part right, I'm able to show up more intentionally for others and build healthier, supportive relationships.
Being around other people really helps test if I've grown as much as I think I have.
I'm good. Intentional change theory talks about discovering your ideal self and comparing it to your real self. What's one realization you have had this year about the gap between the two? And what are you doing to close it?
The molten mirror.
This ought to be brilliant.
Oh boy.
My ideal self is being comfortable in discomfort.
One realization I've had this year about the gap between my ideal self and my real self is how often I put others' needs ahead of my own.
In the moment, my real self tends to seek a path of least resistance when it comes to conflict.
In reality, I've noticed that I often run on autopilot sometimes, consistently trying to solve other people's problems for them.
My ideal self can hold complexity and trust herself in the unknown.
My ideal self, however, would engage more proactively in asking those difficult conversations, having that courageous communication to really get to the root cause of the conflict.
My real self, though, still wants to control things.
I'm trying to lean more actively into the discomfort, and when a conflict arises, commit myself to taking a brief pause to identify core issues rather than immediate emotions. I'm actively working on framing difficult conversations around mutual needs and goals, rather than pointing fingers or laying blame, in order to find a collaborative, lasting resolution.
I worry less about having a plan and more about trying new things, seeing what feels right and following that.
What I've done is I've started setting aside intentional moments each day to pause, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, to reflect, breathe, and just step away from my work, because I realize how important that is for me to be successful.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
All right, last one here, Sean. Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Where do I see myself in 10 years? I'm doing something I could have never planned.
Hopefully one day I can be our executive director here within public safety, which is basically my boss's job. Or if not there, maybe at a bigger university as a chief of police there.
Two things for myself. First, I tend to be very goal-oriented, and so in 10 years, I want to be in an executive director position.
Take this off. I found a rhythm that blends creativity, systems thinking, and mentorship.
I want to be able to look back and see that I've grown into a more resonant and authentic version of myself, and that's how I'll really know that I've matured as a leader.
I just want to help people grow themselves, so Again, hopefully just within the next 10 years, I can be a little more influential over the people I see and have a little more responsibility. Thanks, Sean. Not hot at all, actually.
Piece of cake.
Oh, it's hot. That's just disgusting.
No.
God.
Anyway, those were hot. That was the last couple. I don't know what that stuff is. Oh, whose idea was this? Oh.